lot of pieces on the board and eliminate the exchanges. But I think we'll see the first move now. And
here we go.
And
as
waiting the first move, e4.
E4. You know, sometimes
of course we have Sicilian.
When you want, ooh, b6. When you want to win, when you want to draw as white, sometimes e4 is the way to go, because there are so many forcing ultra sharp lines that do end in draw. Now, this early b6, it doesn't have a good reputation for it, Var.
Yes, I think definitely Duda is taking some risks here, and there are some games played in a database in the current position after the move queen c7. About 40 games I see. White can in fact play the move knight d5, try to play ultra aggressive, and I think that makes sense because black is still way behind in development here. So knight d5 attacking the queen.
Bishop takes d5.
Bishop takes d5.
Queen e5
takes
check.
d5.
He's done it, by the way. Knight d5 is on the board.
Bishop e3. This is very, very, very risky, I think, for Duda.
Can black take on d5?
Bishop e2. Now threatening bishop f3.
I'm a pawn grabber, but I'm not signing up for this
e5
one.
E5 is your only move here, I think.
Really? Bishop f3, e4?
Bishop f3, e4, I think black is okay, but white will be better after the move knight f5.
I'm still not signing up for this one.
If you take on d1, rook d1, and I think
and black has
we can see white and
no
good compensation here.
Queen e5 immediately by Duda. He wasn't interested in bishop takes d5, and Magnus saying bishop e3, you got to take the knight because knight takes b6. What? I was about to say knight takes b6.
Apparently it's a blunder, and now if knight f3, white is +4. This might be a very quick game.
This is very strange. Yeah.
Oh, knight
Oh, no.
and Duda just looked askance, and he did not like that move, knight f3. Oh boy, oh boy.
He missed
It
knight
was
f3.
over before it got started.
Yeah. It's easy to miss backward moves, always.
Yeah, but knight takes b6, queen a5 check.
That
was the nasty trick that he had set up. Knight f3, however, oh my goodness, knight c7 check.
King has
That
to...
forks the king and rook. By the way,
King goes to e7.
oh dear me, oh blimey, that is just so bad.
Yeah, white's going to be up material and position.
And have the initiative.
Compensation, right?
Right.
And you don't even need to rush to take the rook. You can start out with the move queen d2, preparing a long castle.
I was about to say bishop e2, queen d2. Queen d2 has my attention because long castles, and I could go queen d6 check. He took the rook. Can't blame him for that. The king on e7 is just pathetic. Queen d2, castles, pawn on sagging. Everything's wrong.
A horrible position for Duda.
Yeah, he can play now c4, or even queen d4 is very good. Exchange
I was
queens.
going to say queen d4 looks great. Let's not forget Magnus only needs a draw. Of course, he's going to play to win this game.
Of course. Queen d4.
Var, I had a question for you. Is there a name for this line that Duda played in the Sicilian?
Early b6 on move 2.
Does it have a name?
And I don't know, maybe there is a name, but I think definitely this move queen c7 I didn't like. I would have preferred something like e6 there, and try to get some kind of a position with knight f6. Yeah. But queen c7 was just way too risky to allow knight d5.
b5. That invites queen a7?
Or queen c5 check? Or a4? I mean, anything. Everything looks good for white.
True that. It does. It does. A5 looks, A4 looks very, very powerful, I want to say. Queen takes on d4, knight takes d4, b4, trying to shut things down, but this move a5 leaves this pawn as a permanent weakness. Okay, before we write final passage for Duda, remember he did get a pawn for the exchange, and he does have some squares. If he could just not lose material, right? So the bishop a7 would be met by knight c6. So
Or does he have a chance to come back a little bit?
That's what I
Actually,
wanted to
Magnus
ask.
played series of inaccurate moves, guys, and Duda is actually, he's okay now. And
What?
yeah, it was the position went from almost +6 to right now it's like, less than +1 for white.
No kidding, G5. I mean, bishop takes A6.
Do you think Magnus just relaxed already?
I think from Magnus's point of view, he's probably thinking, I've done everything properly and well. If you hadn't told him your last few moves were inaccurate, Magnus, he wouldn't believe you. He would say, I've just won the pawn on A6. I'm cruising. I don't know what you're talking about. So rook A2.
But going from +6 to +0.5, that's a big
Well,
change.
that's a big change. He just doesn't know it. I mean, because he's thinking.
And now just knight
rook-
takes B6 for Duda, and then rook B8, pick up the B6 pawn. And I see some,
has two
serious
bishops.
compensation.
He played it the wrong way, though. He attacked the bishop and permitted the bishop to retreat to E3.
Yeah, rook B8 was inaccuracy because that A5 pawn is actually going to remain on the board now.
Precisely.
And I'm not sure why he...
What bishop? Okay, sorry. The bishop on A8 is hanging, so you can't capture it twice. But bishop E3 might have been far more confounding.
Absolutely. Or even bishop C5 check, force the D6, and then go bishop E3, because in some of these lines, rook will come to A7 with a check.
Absolutely.
And that was just a big advantage for white. And now after knight D4,
And Magnus may
Okay.
not have an advantage, but he also doesn't risk to lose this, right? And he
No.
only needs a draw.
Exactly. Although, again, I mean, now I feel the inaccuracies are beginning to pile up. Now it's less.
and he's 1.5 minutes behind on the clock.
I mean, we
Wow.
thought Duda was going to resign in less than 20 moves.
Oh, for
so-
sure. It looked like it was move 8 or something
Yeah.
that Duda was looking in disgust at the move knight F3. And at that moment, we thought it was +4, or we were told by the engine it was +4. Now he's fighting back. By
And
the way, Wesley.
yeah, Wesley drew his game against Dieck.
Okay, he's just trying to secure his third place, but is MVL
He may
putting pressure?
have lost, by the way. That might be an inaccurate information.
Oh,
I
really?
apologize for that. I would have to check.
Oh my. Okay. And MVL?
MVL is still playing unclear about equal position.
Okay, jump back in. We just have the move bishop F3 by Magnus, and he keeps spoiling things.
Oh, black is already very slightly better. Bishop
Exactly, I was about
Bishop
to
takes
say.
F3,
isn't
takes
it,
back, rook B6 now.
Rook B6. He's even included the move B3, by the way. I'm not 100% sure he needed to include B3 because that does ensure that white.
Yeah, and then more pawns coming off the board, and this H4 is a critical move. This is a very strong move because you get rid of your weak H pawn, and now you exchange more pawns.
Exactly.
And this is
with
going to give
HG,
Magnus
HG.
a lot more drawing chances.
Exactly.
If only there were more pieces on the board, Duda would definitely have a chance, but
Well, I can only imagine in the playing hall, the Polish audience is holding their breath. Can the Polish fighter, I'm using that term because he has a handle as the Polish fighter on chess.com, can he snag this game? Rook takes B2 here. That's a confounding ending. Bishop and 4 pawns versus rook and 2 pawns. The double pawns are actually okay.
Yes.
Because that makes it easy to trade. But the straight up bishop versus 2 pawns versus rook, if there was only a bishop and 2 pawns, I remember Gurevich beating Larry Christensen with the bishop and 2 pawns.
wow.
Yes.
That can happen.
That can happen against the
If the
rook.
pawns are far advanced,
Yes.
and yeah, you have a chance. But I think here it should be comfortable draw for Magnus.
Do you think that Duda should be trading rooks with rook
Magnus
B2? Or do you
does
think he
look-
should play E5?
Unhappy, he was shaking his head like, how did
Well,
I get here?
He's not happy that
From my winning
from,
position.
from the opening we read Duda his last rites. E5 and keeping the rook on the board.
Yeah, I think this is the best chance for him to play E5, but he played bishop
B6.
B6.
Keeping the, but we're about to see B3.
Yeah.
That's an improvement for white. That's
Definitely.
The pawn is no longer on a dark square, and
Maybe black wants to create 4 passers, so d5, e5.
not quite sure what the move rook a4 does. I was more interested in rook going to the a8 square so that I could come
I
across.
think he wants to play, oh, there you go. He wants to play b4 and force some exchanges.
Wow, what, oh, bishop, blindness, bishop b3, rook, no, I'm not blind. Bishop b3, rook rook e3.
And then rook e3.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking bishop takes rook a7 is met by bishop to d6, and you're not forcing a trade of rooks. b4.
I mean, I guess Duda could play bishop d6 right away to avoid exchanges.
Makes sense.
And then still try to push with e5.
Yeah, I would.
His only
I'd
hope
be
here is
interested.
that Magnus goes into some deep time trouble and then makes a big blunder.
By the way, I'm not a fan of this move, bishop b6, because rook a8 threatens maybe winning. I mean, rook b8 is
All
a
right.
winning threat because that bishop and rook would be tied up to the b2 pawn.
So he needs
b4
to
pawn,
play
sorry.
bishop c5
Bishop
now,
c5.
maybe?
Time to play bishop c5, yes.
Yeah.
Bishop c5, rook a5.
Rook b4.
Oh,
Yeah, and
so-
we get the ending that it seems like Duda has been trying to avoid.
Yeah, I don't think he can keep avoiding the exchange.
Exactly. By the way, bishop c5 would run into rook d3 as well, right?
And Duda's down to 10 seconds, by the way.
Bishop c5, rook d3, and we
Yeah.
can agree a draw right away, rook d3.
Rook a5.
Oh, he missed it, Magnus did.
I mean, this is also...
Draw.
White has to
drawn.
try hard to lose this.
Where there's a will, there is a way. Rook to c7 and just wait.
The problem is g5 pawn is weak, and it's going to be difficult to activate the king. And now you can play even rook h6.
Rook h6 followed by rook g6. I like that very
Keep an eye on
much.
that e6 pawn.
Exactly. I like that very much. That would, by the way, is the clock a factor yet?
They're both playing on 10 seconds.
Wow. Okay, it feels like to me that Duda has achieved more or less the maximum. He can play d5, pardon me, yes, d5 followed by d4. And, well, okay, g4, check. Bishop d4 is time to take the pawn.
It's very hard for him to create a pass pawn.
F3
And I
check.
see that MVL won his game
Ooh,
against
that's
Wojtaszek.
huge because I
Yes.
think that allows MDL to catch Wesley in a tie for third. And this was the ending I was asking you about for king and rook versus the bishop and the 2 pawns. I have seen, again, not Dmitry Gurevich, the other Gurevich, and I'm trying to remember his name. Oops.
Mikhail Gurevich?
Michael Gurevich, thank you so much, yes. Michael Gurevich, and what Michael did was very clever. He was passing around for 40 moves and got Larry thinking. Then he would advance a pawn, play another 40 moves.
Oh,
And
torturing his
tortured poor Larry. But d4, okay, what does the table base tell us?
It shows it's just equal here, but in time trouble,
Anything can happen.
anything can happen. The idea is if you play d3, I have king e3. And I think now he needs to just stay on the 5th rank. This is the
Yeah,
key,
keeping
key
the king
defense.
cut.
Just stay on the 5th rank now.
Yeah,
Right?
that's the problem
But
for
this
black.
move, this move threatened d3 check followed by e3. And what about king c4 and d3?
King c4, rook h4 now.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, rook h3
there was
is the key
there's a
move.
moment of nervousness there, as again, Duda's the one with chances, obviously.
Well, 2 seconds for Magnus, so
Wow.
it's
Magnus,
scary.
king c4, and it's getting scary. d3
I
check.
think it is winning now. The
Is
table
it?
base is telling
Did
me
it jump?
it's a win. But
it
no,
jump?
bishop g3 was a miss. There was a bishop d6 was winning.
Oh my!
It's still winning.
No. Are we
This
going to
is
see
incredible.
a playoff? Are we
It
going to
keeps
see a playoff?
jumping from winning to a draw. That's what table base is telling me. Wow.
Wow.
Anything can happen in Blitz.
Okay, what does your intuition tell you, Nasi?
I
Are
think
we
it'll
going to
be
be
a
a
draw.
playoff?
I think it'll be a draw.
VAR?
Yes, I think it should be a draw with the correct defense here. And let's see.
3 seconds for
You
Duda.
got to keep the rook on d3, so if e3 comes, you can take.
Wow.
How does white claim a draw in this situation? You have to.
Yeah, you say
50
to the
moves, right?
arbiter, I'm claiming 50 moves. Now, if your draw claim is unaccepted, then your opponent gets extra time. Was that a mistake?
No, I think it's still fine. 'cause
Still
it's
fine?
King c3 now.
King c3?
But there were 3 or 4 times.
No rook d8
black
check.
winning.
No rook d8 check. Oh, Magnus, how many seconds does
Magnus
he have?
has 10 seconds. Duda has 5.
Whoa, 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 whoa. And
It's incredible that Duda had a win more than once here.
rook, I was about to say rook check and rook to e4, rook to d5, sorry. Again, rook to d7 and rook takes...
Yeah, rook d7, rook d3 here.
Yeah,
Oh, that
rook
would be
takes
simple.
d3, right?
Yes.
Okay, don't lose your rook. Rook check.
Rook d7, king c4.
That's right. Oh my gosh. And playing this position with no time on the clock and defending, I want to say heroically. This is really impressive play by Magnus. Rook,
So he needs to keep the king cut off for as long as he can.
exactly. Rook to b5, rook
And
to
if
h5.
black pushes e3, he has rook a3, right?
Yes.
Forcing. Oh, down to 1 second.
1 second? Both of them at various moments there just went down to 1 second.
Imagine if one of them flags, if Magnus flags this.
Oh my goodness. I'm predicting playoffs, everybody. You heard it here first.
It's still, table base still showing a draw, of course.
Still showing a draw. But now the threat is e3. Magnus found one of the drawing moves. That
He's
was
playing very accurately
with almost
with
no
no
time.
time. No time.
And
at
by the
all.
way, this looks like a 3-time repetition. I feel like I've seen this position before.
But it's hard to claim that, so.
For sure, it is impossible. And that's it. That
Oh, that's
draws
it.
the game. Oh,
Wow.
what a
Wow.
okay. That was a great fight. You got to applaud Duda.
Yeah.
He came back from a terrible opening and nearly pulled it off. I was wrong. All my predictions this tournament have failed. I thought a playoff.
Magnus can finally relax and take a deep breath. Wow.
And I just got to applaud Magnus. He just